Today I'm going to show you a few real trades I took last week using the opening range break strategy. This is one of my favorite strategies because it enables me to not overtrade, take a couple of trades in the morning or at night. And what's even better about this video is I found how you can get earlier entries and lock in more profits by hitting this criteria. So stay tuned and let's get started. All right, so we are first going to take a look at trade number 1 here, which I took a long on. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up TradingView and just show you step by step how you can trade the opening range breakout strategy. And I only typically trade one coin. If you're jumping around from coin to coin, you're not going to know the chart as well. So that is why I stick with one coin. My one coin is Solana. I've traded it for a few years now, I think even, but it's been going pretty well for me. But here's a bunch of other coins on the side that I have tried trading this on as well. So these are all potential coins you could trade as well off to the right-hand side here. But anyways, let's break this down here. So we're first, the opening range breakout strategy works best for market opens. So you could think of New York's open, London's open, Asia's open. I'm usually trading this from 8:30 to 10 a.m. Central my time, anywhere from there, usually only a couple hours. Same with PM for me, 8:30 PM to around 10 PM Central my time. So whatever time zone you're in, you can do that for yourself. But the first thing we're going to do when trading this strategy is we're going to go to the daily time frame. So this is step number 1 you're going to want to do. And we're going to mark the previous day high and low candle. And just mark this in a different trend line so you can recognize it when we jump down to the 1 minute or 5 minute time frame here. So here is the previous day high and low of this candle. So we have that. We can see this candle right now around 8:30 a.m. It has hit the previous day low. And what I tend to notice and why we mark this out is during the day, it will jump from this previous day low to high. Sometimes it'll break through, sometimes it won't, sometimes it'll just stay in that range. So that is why we mark that area. Next, we're going to jump down to the 5-minute range here. So next, we are going to mark the candles from 8:30 a.m. to 8:35 a.m. Central and mark that area out. So right now I'm on the 5-minute time frame here, but we will jump to the 1 minute here in a sec. We're going to see how this candle plays out. So here's our 8:30 to 8:35 a.m. candle on the 5-minute time frame. So we'll go ahead and mark the high and low of that. And I just use a different color on these lines, just so I know the previous day low and high and where it's at. So we have that candle move out. We'll jump to the 1 minute time frame now. Now it does appear like we are breaking through this. However, it's not a very strong break enough to take a short yet, I would say, because we are staying right on this line. In fact, what I was thinking during this trade, if it comes above this line, I'm probably going to end up taking a long because I can either get out here if it resists this area or take it farther up. Because we are in an overall uptrend and this looks like a complete flip around and we got big bullish candles signaling that, what I was looking to do was actually take a long on this trade. Even though it looks like we broke down a couple of times below this opening range breakout, I simply took my fib. So we're going to take this from the bottom area to the top here. And you'll see it came down and it hit this 0.5 pretty perfectly along with this fair value gap here. So that is a big confluence for me to possibly enter this trade right here. So I have been really looking at this 0.5 area along with a 5-minute fair value gap. We'll see if there's one there. There is one there as well. So on the 5-minute time frame, we can see this huge bullish fair value gap that was made by this candle here, which is a signal to me to probably take a long because it has stayed in this fair value gap area. On this part, it came up a little, came back down. But I would aim for a actual long position right here, since this is not a very good break, as you can see, of this bottom opening range breakout on the 5-minute. So if we were to take a long here at this 0.5, I don't think I entered perfectly at the 0.5 on this trade. I think I waited till it got back in. But anyways, we can either aim for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio and simply put our stop loss below the fair value gap candle, which is this big candle here. And this will give you the quantity to enter in MEXC. You can double click this, and depending on your account size, let's say we have a $10,000 account, I only recommend risking anywhere from 1 to 10% of your account. If you're risking 10% of your account, that means you can lose 10 trades and your account will be blown. If you're risking 1% of your account, that means you can lose 100 trades and your account will be blown. So 5% is sometimes a good middle ground. So let's say you have a $1,000 account. 10% would be $100 you're risking on each trade with 10% of your account. If we're doing 5%, it would be $50. So go ahead, just do 10% to keep it easy here. But there is your quantity that you can enter in MEXC actually. And MEXC, what's great, it has 0 fees for trading Solana, which is pretty amazing, even if you market in and out of a trade. So I have been using MEXC like crazy for Solana just because they now have 0 fees, as you'll see here. But how you would enter this is you can either mark it in once you see that. So it said 67 quantity, you can just put 67. So that means you're risking $100. If it goes past your stop loss, you're going to go ahead and mark it out. I always wait for the wick though. Or you could do like a limit order. If we were looking at that limit order here at that 0.5, you could do 101.37. So say we hit it before, and we could do 101.37 and put in our quantity of 67 and open up a lawn here. My leverage is isolated at 45x just to keep it relatively safe, but that is what I have found best to work for me. Go ahead, close out of this. Say we entered at that 0.5 area because we are in an overall uptrend. So I'll go ahead and just mark this out so we know the 0.5 area is where we actually entered in green. So we have that marked out. May come down and hit the 0.618, but we shall see here. And then next we want to mark out our take profit levels. Now, what areas should we take profit at? And I will actually show you here. My favorite take profit levels are these up here. So you can see this 1.272 right here. This 1.618 here. The 1.618 is becoming my new favorite depending on where we are in the graph. And then this 2 level here. So 2.272 can sometimes be hard to hit, but I'll just mark those out so you guys can see them. And then the next thing I like to look for on take profit levels is also previous fair value gaps it could hit. So like bearish fair value gaps since we're taking a long here. And we're already on the 5-minute. There's a couple of them. Our 1.272 lines up perfectly with this fair value gap in this kind of resistance area here. If it was to make a higher high, it could go up to this 1.618. So now that we have those areas marked for our take profit levels, you can actually enter these in MEXC too. If we're on the 5-minute time frame and just drawing this down here, we can go ahead. If you wanted to set 3 different take profit levels, you could. Or if you just wanted to set 1 to get out fully, you can do that as well. It's up to you. But to set a take profit level, you can simply go 105.87 was that 1.272 mark. You put in the same quantity if you just wanted to exit out fully, and you can hit close up here and hit close long and it'll appear down below. So let's go ahead and actually see what happens with this trade here. So I'll go ahead and move to the minute time frame just so you can see me play it forward. As you can see, we wicked down, hit that 0.5 pretty perfectly. Wasn't a very good break, I would say, of this short. And it's also going, I would say, against the trend. We have this big bullish candle here on the 1 minute. We have more big bullish candles just signaling an overall uptrend. So this is why I took a long here, but we'll go ahead and see what happens. So as you can see, we got huge momentum to the upside. We even have this big bullish candle with no wicks on it, signaling probably even more bullish momentum just because there are no wicks. It's just a lot of buyers. And we also have a ton of buyers on our money flow right off to the right side here. So this would indicate to me to probably stay in this trade. Our price action also right here was kind of little and signaling more bullish momentum. So sometimes I like to watch take profit levels, or if I'm just eager to get out of a trade, I'll just stay in it. You'll see it also held this 1 minute fair value gap pretty well. It didn't break through it or anything, signaling a downturn. So now we'll go ahead. And as you can see, this is a large bullish candle out of this opening range breakout that we marked on this purple line here. And it broke our previous day. So if I just remove this fib here, see how big this candle is, signaling a potential uptrend, while this one was just like a little bit to the downside. Price action was small, and then it just flipped right back into it. So we can go ahead and see what happens here. So we move back downward into this fair value gap. It's holding it pretty well still, moving upward, and then we hit that 2 level for our take profit area, which is what happened when I made that $500 trade, risking $100, I think it was. So as you can see there, that is how you would play it. Always, I would say, follow the trend. I am going to show you one more trade now, though. And here is actually the rules and the entry criteria I follow that you guys can copy down for yourself. So you can have that break to the downside or upside of that 5-minute range. If you want to get in earlier before that break, just go along with the trend. Make sure you're in the correct direction of the trend here. Small price action or little candles back towards the opening range breakout, and an FVG in the direction of the trend as I showed you on that 5-minute here. So you can see on the 5-minute, we have that bullish FVG and it just created another one signaling possibly more momentum. I don't really like this big wick here, but you can see if it'll hold this fair value gap, but it wicked right through that 0.5 and came back down. So the next trade I actually took, this one was on the 11th, I believe. So we'll just do the same process again, right? We're going to mark our previous day high and low candles to start out with. We're keeping this super simple when we're trading. We're not overcomplicating our trading system with a bunch of indicators or anything like that. So go ahead and mark this previous day low and high candle here. So there's the low. Here's the high, which it looks like it's breaking to the upside, but we will see what happens. So now that we have our previous day high and low marked out, determine the overall direction of the trend. As you can see right here on the 5-minute, we are clearly in an uptrend, so I would probably be most likely looking to take a long here. But we will go ahead and next we will mark out our 5-minute opening range breakout. And what I like to do, I've been starting my mornings a little bit earlier at 8 a.m. But if we take our fib retracement, we could look at that 0.5 level again, or even this 0.382 because it's lining up with this fair value gap. So we will go ahead and see if we can possibly get an early long entry before it even breaks through the range here, like we did with the last one. So I would be taking a long. Go ahead and look to target possibly here. We might have some resistance at that previous day high. So we'll mark the 0.382 area. Our stop loss would be just below. I'd probably, so this is the fair value gap candle. I would put it just below this fair value gap candle and this fair value gap since it matches up evenly. So we can put it there and we'll get our quantity of 158. So you could do a limit order at 118.66. So if we go 118.66, our quantity was 158. Put in 158 there. We can go open lawn. So we would open that lawn and we will see what happens. So I'll just mark these areas so we know this is where we entered at if it does hit it. Mark out the 0.5, see if it does go through that 0.5. A lot of times it will, and I'll mark the 0.618 since that lines up pretty good with that fair value gap here. All right, so we'll delete this, and next we're going to look for our take profit levels. Obviously, the chart's going to be moving when you do this, but let's go ahead and look for our take profit levels here. So it looks like we have the 1.272 right before we hit that previous day high, so that might be a good level just to be safe and take profit on, because who knows if it's going to blow past this level or not. But like I said, you could take out 50 here, you could take out another 50 here, you could take out another 50 here if you wanted to have separate take profit levels for your whole trade. So just mark these out. And we will go ahead and see what happens. So if we wanted to enter this 119.83, since we have a quantity of 18.83, we have a quantity of 158, we could do something like 50 there, and then maybe we could hit close one, and then we could do another take profit level at 120.46. So maybe another 50 there if we wanted to, and then we could do a third take profit level at 121.14 if we wanted to for that 115 total. So up to you how you want to play it. those would be the take profit levels. It looks like we do have a fair value gap right at the 1. So that could be a dangerous territory for us, especially with all this resistance here. But we will go ahead and see what happens. Our RSI also doesn't look bad. It'll probably, my guess, come down, hit this middle line, and bounce back upward. We are also bullish on the MACD here, so we have a cross on the MACD too. A couple other things you guys are welcome to look at if you like, but I like to keep it pretty simple. So we'll go ahead and see, like I said, we're seeing if we can get an earlier entry than the opening range breakout to really maximize our profits here. So just go on with the direction of the trend. We're taking along here. We're aiming for that 0.382 just because it lines up good with this fair value gap. However, you could do the 0.5 or 0.618. I don't know if it'll hit it, but we will go ahead and see. So we'll drop to the minute time frame here and actually play it forward. All right. So it just missed the 0.5 by a hair, but you can see how great that 0.5 level is for a possible entry for you guys, because it seems to hit it right before it breaks out if it's going in direction of the trend. So look at that 0.5 level, and especially if it lines up with a fair value gap. But it just missed it by a hair, but like I said, we were taking an entry at the 0.382. So if we were marking out our opening range breakout, we would do 8:30 a.m. So that would be this candle. We're going to do the high and low. I'm going to guess it's going to be this one here as the low. And we're going to do the high as well. Just get rid of these lines since it just barely missed that 0.5. And we're going to mark out the opening range breakout high. So we could already take profit right here. You'll see we got that huge bullish momentum even before it broke out. So this is the actual opening range breakout is in between these two purple lines here. But we already entered the trade, so we already took our profit and everything. So we could be good at this 1.272, especially since this previous day high is here. And that's the price it normally likes to gravitate to. We'll go ahead and see what's next, even though we could technically already be out of this trades before the opening range breakout has even happened, because we looked at entering before the opening range breakout, marking out that 0.5/ fair value gap on the 5-minute time frame. So let's play it forward and see what happens. So hit up even farther. Looks like we did hit that 2 level actually. So here's that line drawing for that 2 level. So this is a nice, easy, what was that? A 3-to-1 risk reward ratio I think we got on that. So our 0.382, you can see it just almost hit that bottom of the opening range breakout. Like I said, that 0.5 sometimes just lines up really nicely with that. And then it'll bounce back upward in the direction of the trend usually. So always go with the direction of the trend. These are 2 longs I showed you, but the same applies to shorts. If we were in a downtrend, you would be looking to take shorts, not longs. But we hit our take profit levels before we even got in this trade. So our stop loss would have just been probably below this candle here to keep it safe. And looks, if we held this all the way up to the 2, this would be a 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, which is amazing. I must have took profits at the 1.618, $100 risk, and we got $300 out of it. So that is how to get in before the opening range breakout even takes off. Step 1, mark the previous day high and low, see if it's about to hit it. So it usually likes to gravitate towards those previous day high and lows. As you'll see here, it wasn't quite there. And then it came up and hit it pretty perfectly. Now we could be breaking out towards the upside further. But step 2, go ahead and even before that 8:30 a.m. start time, you can look for that 0.5 fib level for a possible entry before the opening range breakout, as long as it's in the direction of the trend. Like I said, on both these trades, I was looking for longs because we were in an overall uptrend. We had higher lows and higher highs being made, signaling that reversal, along with we had some pretty big bullish candle movements on that first trade I showed you. This is how I'm getting into trades to maximize profits before the opening range breakout even occurs, and scalping pretty easily. I would say some of these trades during the opening period only take about 10 minutes a time. I am now posting my trade ideas or trade setups in my Discord here. So if you guys would like to join, you can see all the trade setups. I give you entry, I give you take profit levels I'm looking for, kind of what I'm looking at on the graph as well. You'll see I saw Dragonfly Doji, which was an actual reversal flip we saw on this, to enter a trade. But I give you entry, take profit levels, and everything like that, along with a daily analysis if you're looking for a more daily trend. But if you guys do want to hop in the Discord, you can go ahead and do. And I also do chart reviews as well. So if you're trying to optimize or improve your charts further, I am more than happy to take a look and give some advice or shoot a video to see what we could look for the next time to optimize this trade and get more profit out of it, or simply why we shouldn't have taken a trade in the first place. But thank you guys for watching. Overall, I just wanted to show you what I found this week and how I am now taking the opening range breakout strategy to enter trades better even before it happens, just by following the direction of the trend. So if you guys have questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I will talk to you soon.